I want to go to Ezekiel chapter 1. Ezekiel had quite an experience. He says here, he saw, now as verse 15, let's go to verse 15. Now as I beheld the living creatures, behold, one wheel upon the earth by the living creatures with his four faces. The appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of beryl, and their four had one likeness, and their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. When they went on their four sides, and they turned not when they went. And as for their rings, they were so high that they were dreadful, and their rings were full of eyes around about and for them. And when the living creatures went, the wheels went by them. And when the living creatures were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up. In the 1960s, when I worked at Motorola, later on in the 60s, I used to read the Scientific American there at the labs where I worked. And there was an article by a rocket scientist. And he was an atheist. And the article in there was that this guy in his research labs kept after him about there being a God, and he should read the Bible. And so in his article that he wrote about this night that he said, all right, he said, give me a Bible, I'll read it, but I don't believe it. He took it home with him that night, and he just opened it up, and that's where he started reading. And that man fell on his face because he said, what this is a perfect description of like a jet engine. A wheel in the middle of a wheel. The eyes are sensors around that engine, so if there's vibration, it picks up on the screen. A perfect, we call them accelerometers or sensors. A perfect description of a jet engine. And he brought the Bible back to the labs the next day and said, when was this book written? When was this Ezekiel written? Well, you know, at least 2,700 years ago. No, that's impossible. They didn't have jet engines 2,600 years ago. I can prove. It caused that rocket scientist to come to the Lord because he saw that. You see, this book is a living book. This is an awesome book. It has every answer to any and every question you'll ever have in your life.